I can't remember off the top of my head how old the Pat 2 is, but it's got to be close to 100, right? Oh, is it 100?
Yeah, 1924.
So, awesome.
Good job, Dave.
I got lucky, didn't I? I didn't know that ahead of time.
I had to look that up this morning.
Okay, I should have looked that up this morning. Welcome to What the FLX. Today we're at the Finger Lakes Boating Museum in Hammondsport with Rob Whitcomb, one of the folks who works in the restoration shop. And Rob does really a little bit of everything. So we wanted to chat with you a little bit. Appreciate your making time with us.
Terrific to be here. Thanks.
Yeah. So you and I actually met at the Soaring Museum.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of folks, when they come to these museums, these history museums, the Soaring Museum, the Curtis Museum, the Boating Museum, they see all these incredible displays and stuff, but don't realize how they got there.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about what the restoration shops mean to these museums and kind of what the work entails?
I think the restoration shops are integral to any kind of museum, as it offers up kind of a living exhibit of what might be going on, or providing a background for, in the case of the Boating Museum, all things sailing on these lakes, and the Soaring Museum, all flight as it pertains to gliders. So it's a really nice opportunity to interact with the public, more so than just taking a ticket and letting them wander off.
And one of the projects that you've worked on here at the Boating Museum, which took thousands of hours, as I understand, in several years, was the Pat 2. Can you talk a little bit about that project? A
great story. I came to the museum about 2015 after I retired, and I'd always been interested in wooden boats, how to build them, how to restore them. And this opportunity came along here at the Boating Museum. They had just acquired the Pat 2 from a boneyard that was basically near a chainsaw as far as its future. And so this provided a perfect opportunity to get involved with a restoration project. So with the Pat 2, there was a core group of about a half a dozen of us, led by a really talented shipwright, Jeff Heath, a local boy, that led us and taught us basically restoration on wooden boats. And so after, I think, about 18,000 hours and 6 years, we completed the project with the Pat 2. And it encompassed everything about boat building, probably taking more time to build a boat than from scratch. And so we launched it about 4 years ago. This is our fourth year on the water, and I'm fortunate to be part of the captain corps driving the boat now. So got to help build it. Now I get to help drive it.
That's some dedication.
Yeah, it's a ball. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, how did you learn the skills to restore boats?
I knew what a hammer was. I knew what a screwdriver was. And from Jeff's leadership, he was able to tune us all up to specific skills and tools that we needed for this aspect of the restoration. So he was there lockstep with us, very patient, and we acquired the skills that we needed to do.
And I mean, I jumped right into the restoration shop projects and stuff like that, but, you know, to backtrack a little bit, how does one become involved in a restoration shop, you know, and what's your background?
My background was in liberal arts, a graduate degree in photography and painting. And I was able to put together a living on Long Island Sound, running marinas, waterfront programs, and teaching sailing full-time juniors and adults. So retiring was a perfect opportunity to kind of keep it, you know, going with that experience. And so with the boat shop here and the volunteers they needed, and again, being on the water, it was a nice merging of interest and skills.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're a captain on the Pat 2. You're a pilot, as I understand it.
Correct.
You've worked in the restoration shops in both museums that we mentioned earlier. I mean, that's quite a diverse background. What's your favorite part of doing something like that?
I think actually doing it. It's a lot of nervous energy kind of harnessed. Since retiring, don't have enough hours in the day to get everything done that I'd like to get done. So and you're always learning something, you know, and kind of motivated by curiosity, how this works, why this works. And that seems to be the force or the impetus to get involved in these projects. I mean, there's more opportunity for volunteers out there than you could really believe.
Yeah. And that's just learning those new skills and stuff, I imagine, just piques your interest and
absolutely
keeps you exploring new ways to do things and try out new things. Why
absolutely.
not?
And it keeps you young.
Yeah.
I mean, in the sense, at the soaring site, Harris Hill, it was like being a kid again, playing with airplanes, hooking up airplanes, learning to fly, and felt like a 15-year-old, you know, with, golly gee, is that way it works? You know, that silly stuff. But I mean, again, curiosity was the driving force.
How has the response been to the Pat 2 since it's been on the water offering tours on Keuka Lake, seasonal tours?
I think it's been really phenomenal. We had a big coming out party the first year, and we were running really near capacity on our schedule, such as it was. That first year, we were able to take the Pat 2 back to Skinny Atlas, where it had originally been a mail boat on Skinny Atlas. So it was like a big homecoming. And that was a wonderful week with their boat show there. And the guest of honor was the Pat 2.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's awesome. And I can't remember off the top of my head how old the Pat 2 is, but it's got to be close to 100, right? Oh, is it 100?
Yeah, 1924.
So, awesome.
Good job, Dave.
I got lucky, didn't I? I didn't know that ahead of time.
I had to look that up this morning.
Okay, I should have looked that up this morning, but...
No, it's a great boat, and the support for the boat has been phenomenal. I mean, we're a volunteer organization here at the museum, and it's created a really wonderful environment. People are motivated not by the time clock, but having a quality day, if you will, to complete a project.
It's a great attraction for our area, though. Like I've heard stories of people just loving taking the tours and being out on the lake with this historic boat. So it's definitely unique.
They're narrated tours, right? So they learn. People learn a little bit about the history of the boating in the region. They learn about the lake.
That's exactly right. I mean, there's degrees of narration. A lot of times people just want to enjoy the quiet and the solitude out in the water. And then again, there's people like out there going, well, why is this and how come? So you kind of get a sense of the boat and let the story go.
So you talked about your background kind of in art and creativity and stuff like that. And I can see the correlation especially with the boat building. If you have seen the Pat 2, it is a work of art. I mean, it's beautiful, the woodworking and everything, but you obviously have a passion for history too, I think, because it seems like you've really got this connection with that. Can you talk a little bit about that interest?
That's interesting. After I retired, history became a really important factor in my life. I mean, how in the world have we ended up here as it relates to our culture and history and boats and planes? So with retirement schedule, we had a lot more time to read about it and investigate. And it felt like a natural connection to talk about and learn about history. And again, you take issues such as the ocean, flight, boats, and leads into airplanes and so on. And it's a question of filling in the blanks for my own.
For your own edification.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's amazing. The other cool part of it, though, is you're bringing, the displays that you work on, the pieces like, the glider that you were working on when I met you the first time, and boats in here and stuff like that. I mean, you're offering people an opportunity to see something that was historic, but the Pat 2 is actually to experience something that was historic.
Exactly,
so you're kind of
right.
really bringing that history to life. How rewarding is something like that?
It's very rewarding. I like teaching, obviously taught sailing, and I taught a lot of photography. So it's a wonderful opportunity to kind of educate a group where they were totally unaware of this particular activity, the museum or the Soaring Museum. And it's a captive house. You really can't tell them too much without losing them. And you could talk all day, and I like explaining what I know as best I understand it to a new group.
That's awesome. That's why they didn't ask me to be a captain on the Pat 2, because people would be jumping out of the boat, because I'd be talking, they'd be like, no, I can't handle anymore.
Not you, Dave.
No, not me. I'm very quiet. So is there a correlation between piloting and captaining, whether it's a sailboat or a vessel like the Pat 2? Can you kind of explain any kind of correlation with that? Or?
Oh, very much so. I mean, as you're captaining the Pat 2 or flying a glider, it's all about situational awareness, what's around your environment right now. And particularly with boats, you're very responsible for the crew and passengers you have on board. And so you kind of step up to protect that and make it safe for everybody. Flying, it's another issue of situational awareness, very challenging, but you're engaged full time, both driving the boat or flying a glider. You're constantly aware of what's going on around you. You have to be.
Yeah, and making adjustments.
Exactly.
Have you been able to bring in any of your art background, aside from, working on the woodworking and those types of things, to these projects? Or
yes and no. With the restoration of the glider, there was design elements that I wanted to figure out and apply to the ship itself. And so an art background helped there. But in general, you develop an eye for an aesthetic, and you can tell when it's off or on. And so I think with that background in art, it helps identify maybe deficiencies in a design or recognizing enhancements that work very well. So that's kind of where art would fill in right now.
Craig also has a background in art.
So. I am. I'm a graphic designer.
Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent.
Other than your restoration stuff, what else do you like to do? What do you enjoy in life?
Right now, photography is a large part of my life. Still producing work, getting work into shows, fine art photography, you will. Traveling has become a really important aspect of our life with my wife and I. Multiple trips to Costa Rica, and then we just got back about 3 weeks ago from 3 weeks in Mexico. So again, it's kind of fulfilling this what about and the curiosity and how those events happen in these different lands, if you will. And so it makes for a really great day, 24/7, just learning things.
Yeah, I mean, you're always seeking something out.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
Exactly. And always
time to experience life, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's, time is finite.
Yep.
And I mean, so when you do stuff like that, you obviously learn about those places, those experiences, but you learn about yourself too.
You do.
What are some of the things, let's go back to the museum and volunteering here and, that restoration work. What are some of the things that maybe you've learned about yourself through that process that maybe, and even something you may not have expected?
That's a great question. I think primarily as we work with a diverse group of people, how you get along with a diverse group of people, their politics or their background. So you're always wanting to integrate your experience and events with theirs without really stepping on toes, and also being sensitive to the group at large. And so that's been a real benefit, I think, primarily here at the museum. That, again, we had a wide background of people, attitudes, but again, on a volunteer situation, something magical happens. You just leave all that at the door and you go in to complete the mission. So that's been a primary benefit of the last few years.
So Nicole's going to jump in here and join us briefly. Nicole's from the Finger Lakes Boating Museum. Thanks for visiting with us as well today.
Oh, thank you.
And, we were just talking kind of off mic, about some of the things happening this year. And one of the things you wanted to talk about was the PAT 2.
Yeah, so PAT 2, which Rob's done a beautiful job talking about so far, and the more art side of it. I'll talk about the scientific part, which is what we've got going on. So PAT 2 is turning 100 years old this year, which is pretty exciting. So we're going to be celebrating that throughout the entire season this year, which goes from May until October. We're going to be on the water. So we do our public tours in the morning. Times vary, so you can check online at flbm.org for availabilities. And then we also offer charters. So we're also trying to give back more to our members this year, as they've done so much for us. So we're introducing special membership pricing this year, as well as youth pricing, so that we can be available for more family members. So it's an exciting year for us.
And I think one of the things you touched on, the tours, one thing that's a little unique is that people can charter the PAT 2 themselves. So they could go on a public tour in the morning, you said, and then they could, if they wanted to have, 15 friends were getting together for a bachelorette party or whatever, they wanted to get out on the lake, they could charter the PAT 2 in an afternoon.
Afternoon into evening, absolutely. And, bring your booze aboard if you want, and snacks if you want. And we have an array of captains who are ready to go and have fun with you guys. So yeah, it's a lovely boat to do. And it's extremely unique, because how many 100-year-old wooden electric motored boats would you be able to go out on every day? So makes for a unique family event. Yeah, I know.
Is that a rhetorical question? I was like, one?
Yeah, I'd like to get the count in the world.
That's great.
Yeah.
I do have a question that stems from that. Older generations are the ones that tend to be more into the history and stuff. So how do you guys position yourself to educate the younger generations and get them interested in boat restoration, history of boating?
Again, that's a terrific question and something we're facing every day. Our age, we're aging out. We want to have it backfilled with the younger generation coming in, but there's a lot of competition out there to get them involved. In the 6, 7, 8 years I've been here, the folks that come through, again, are retired, and these are the ones that primarily want to get involved. The younger set, not so much. And I think it's a complex kind of situation with their time and their interests that are in contrast to the way we grew up with a hammer and a screwdriver. That doesn't seem to be so much in play anymore, where it's all information now and more career oriented at this point, and not really a lot of leftover time to volunteer extracurricular in activities. It's a little frustrating.
Well, it is an opportunity for folks from, let's say, the younger generation who maybe have that more informational connection to the universe, right?
Yeah.
To have some hands-on tactile
Right.
interaction with things and to create something that's tangible.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very complex because we all grew up with shops in high school. They don't exist anymore. And so there's got to be a seed planted early enough, I think, in their development to seek further opportunities with making and hands-on. The same, it's a soaring museum. We'll have an older crowd, not so much younger. And so it's a process of kind of educating, recruiting, and encouraging for that younger set to get on. And by the way, the museum has done a terrific job creating junior programs for people of high school age, junior high, to learn some aspect about boat building. Nicole just completed making a paddle, an oar workshop, and it was wonderful. They learned everything about a tape measure and a ruler, and they actually made something, and apparently it went very well.
That's awesome. When I think of paddle, I always think of my parents, and running from them. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Not that kind of
I
paddle.
ever did, but my sister did.
I did encourage that the paddles, do not hit the classmates.
It's for
Use
basic
for
water.
Yeah.
I do think social media is helping, though. You can get the story out a lot more. So the visibility of what you guys do and things, to be honest, when I was younger, had no clue. So the social media aspect of it, there's an opportunity to really showcase these stories, showcase the behind the scenes, and spark that interest for that generation that's viewing all that.
And with that aspect, it's been huge, I mean, but it's a constant situation where you have to always be promoting. You can't let it go stagnant. We have 8-minute attention spans or something like that. And so that's the key to it as far as inducing people to come out, tapping into social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me personally, one interesting thing about the boating museum is that, we grow up in the Finger Lakes region. A lot of us, you haven't, but, you take for granted that the water's here and the lakes are here, but don't necessarily think about how integral the boating aspect of that lake life has been, not only for people who live here, but for tourism, for people to come make this a destination. So the museum is a great resource to kind of talk about and show kind of the, from the trout boats to the steamboats,
exactly,
to the life of the Lakers,
right.
and the lake life here.
Right.
But then, as you mentioned, Nicole and the museum have programs for people to kind of continue that.
Exactly.
To
right.
actually take that up.
Right. I mean, again, it's part of that discovery. I had no idea that the Finger Lakes, particularly Keuka Lake, was so integral to world trade. The canals, the Erie canals, and if you could get your grapes over to Seneca, which was a canal at the north end of the lakes, next stop Europe. And so that was a kind of a wonderful situation to become aware of. The economics of it, the jobs it provided at the turn of the century, all very necessary for a vibrant community as such.
And the development of their region.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly right.
I kind of alluded to it, like what else you enjoy, but what's next for you?
Fly the airplane. Now it's done. That was a 4.5-year restoration project. And I'm presently restoring a wooden sailboat myself. So that'll be done next summer. It's currently in the restoration shop. And hopefully that'll become part of the fleet of boats that we have at the museum, available for membership to sail and available to learn how to sail on a vintage boat. So that's next 2 years as I see it right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, I'm going to become a conductor of a railroad. And I see all these other
wouldn't put it past him. He's still got time.
Right.
I know. Man.
Captain of submarine.
Yeah. Right. And just one last thing. I can't say enough about the Finger Lakes Boating Museum organization. It's been a remarkable group of people. And the dedication from Ed Whiteman, Nancy Whiteman, Nicole, our new director, Kara, all moved. It's almost like a calling to make this museum happen and make it viable for the next 10, 20 years. It's a constant kind of effort, and they should be commended for it.
That's great.
Yeah, and I mean, it was an abstract idea for years, right?
Apparently,
the
yeah.
museum existed, but it didn't have a physical, tangible
It did
place
not,
until the couple of the folks you mentioned, were a driving force behind making that happen.
That's right.
And now it is here in Hammondsport.
Right.
People can come and experience it.
Yeah,
and see some of the stuff that you've worked on.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Again, as Ed and Nancy had this vision along with others, people started donating boats. So they had hundreds of boats and no home. And so with the gift of the Taylor Wine Factory wine-making facilities, it blossomed into what it is today.
The restoration shop, is that something that people, when they come to the museum, can they go to the restoration shop and see folks working occasionally or stuff like that? Or is that kind of just the doors are behind the scenes?
We're getting out more and more to encourage people to cross the street from this building here. And so our schedule is typically Tuesdays and Thursdays, but the restoration shop is open 7 days a week. We have a number of people that are working independently, and they're always available to answer and show anybody that best their ability to kind of answer questions about their projects. So it's available 7 days a week.
Yeah. But people should check in at the front desk
There you
first
go. Yeah.
at the museum before they go.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we appreciate your taking the time
Thank
to
you
chat
very
with us
much.
today, Rob and Nicole.
Great meeting you.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and look forward to seeing what you guys do next.
Okay, next stop, Pat, too.
All right.
There you go.
Well, until next time, I just want to say to everybody, stay groovy.
You've been waiting to do that.
I have.
Thank you much.
Thanks.
Very much. Thank you very much.